Good evening, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the 9 p.m. all-weather, all-streaming show that we do here every night during the workdays and on weekends. We stream it out to all of our streaming platforms as well as to Facebook Live. So if you are joining us from Facebook or YouTube and you have any comments or questions or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. If not, I'll go through at the very end and see if I can answer anything individually for you if I can't get to it as we go through the forecast here. But let's get started. We'll start off with our headlines. So what are we keeping our eyes on here for the next couple of days as we're getting that last little bit of light setting on the horizon there in Owensboro? Well, we're going to stay mostly clear to partly cloudy overnight tonight. We don't really have any concerns with the weather through the overnight hours. More concerns arrive as we get into the second half of the weekend and into the beginning of next week, where we're tracking out some scattered rain chances. But I still think we get a good amount of dry time even as we go through tomorrow and Monday. So it doesn't look like a complete washout by any means. And then as we get into the end of next week, we'll start to dry out and temperatures will start to return to near normal levels. So climbing back up into the upper 70s for our highs to round off the work week. So let's get started with a look at our current temperatures. So today we warmed up into the lower 70s. Right now we're sitting in the 60s pretty much across the tri-state. 65 here in Evansville, 66 in Owensboro and Henderson, 63 in Madisonville and in Jasper. Our highs today, as I mentioned before, we got all the way up into the lower 70s despite even the cloudy half or a cloudy first half of our day. 73 was our high. We got up to around 74 out towards St. Louis and a little bit cooler to our south where there was some more cloud cover to play with. So only 72 in Bowling Green, around 71 in Nashville. And then looking at temperatures across the entire region, many of us here in the Ohio River Valley are sitting in the 50s and 60s this evening. We'll continue to drop down through the 60s and into the lower or mid 50s overnight tonight. Looking at our temperatures so far for the month of May, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, especially starting off at the first week. We were strong the first 2 days. We had average temperatures, and then we started to drop below average, where we only topped out in the 50s that first weekend. And then as we got through the second and third week, temperatures started to moderate a little bit more, getting back up to near normal. And then we started to shoot back up well above average, where we almost topped out at around 90 degrees on the 15th. And then behind that, we had, again, some more roller coaster leaps there with temperatures in the 80s, 70s, a few 60s, but mostly sitting in the 70s here, which is actually below average. Our average high now for this time of year is actually right around 80 degrees. And looking at precipitation we've had so far for the month of May, obviously all fallen in the form of rainfall, but remember, we've had a good amount of it. So we had that first week where we had that cutoff low, where we had multiple days of rainfall, and then we've thrown in a few thunderstorm and severe weather events in there. That's where you see those darker green colors, where you get a lot of rain in just a short amount of time. So we've gotten a lot of moisture so far this May. That puts us at around 5 inches for the entire month so far, and that puts us at just shy of an inch above where we should be for this time of the month. And then looking at the entire year, we've accumulated around 26.22 inches of liquid equivalent rainfall. That puts us at around 5.8 inches above where we should be for the entire year. And with these cooler temperatures over the last couple of days and what we're expected to be over the next few days, our average temperatures have started to drop below where they should be. So our average temp takes into account the overnight low and the daytime high. You average it over several days and you get 65.8 as our average temperature so far for the month of May, and that puts us at a 0.1 degree below where it should be. So a little bit cooler maybe to round off this month, but we will certainly have plenty more heat to come as we go through the rest of spring and into summer. But here's a look at our current radar. What is going on across the U.S.? Well, we've got an area of high pressure kind of sitting over the Great Lakes region and into the mid-Atlantic, so just off to our northeast. That's what's been kind of protecting us from any sort of shower activity from moving into our area. We've had this persistent area of low pressure that's just kind of formed and then ejected off to the south, and then forms again and ejects itself off to the south. So we've got wave after wave of low pressure coming in off the Rocky Mountains, but that high pressure is steering it away from us for the most part. However, our luck does run out a little bit more as we get to the second half of this weekend, and into the beginning of next week, where we're tracking out at least the chance for a few showers. Not looking at anything major, but at least something where you may have to bring an umbrella and keep it handy if you're going to be outside. But tonight, 57 degrees for our overnight low, mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, topping out in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees with some scattered showers. And looking ahead at your Memorial Day forecast for Monday, again, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies with the chance for some scattered showers as we get later on in the day on Monday, probably not moving in until late afternoon or into Monday evening and then into Tuesday. So it looks like a good chunk of the day on Monday will be dry as well. Well, let's track everything out here through tonight. We'll stay partly cloudy to mostly clear, and then as we get into Sunday, you'll notice we'll wake up to some of that cloud cover, a few scattered showers possible moving through in the late morning and into the afternoon hours. It looks like the best chances across the tri-state for catching a shower is going to be across portions of western Kentucky. But you can see here, coverage isn't all that impressive. It's kind of reduced in coverage each and every day here that we've gotten closer. So it's been trending a little bit drier, which is great news, but still not the most perfect forecast that we could ask for. But overall, relatively undisruptive day for tomorrow outside of a few raindrops. That's why you might want to just keep that umbrella handy if you're going to be going anything outdoors. But I don't think you need to cancel anything or reschedule anything, just preparing for maybe a few sprinkles out there. And then any shower activity that we do get during the day on Sunday should come to an end by the time we get into Sunday night, and then we should stay dry through the overnight hours. And looking ahead at our rain chances for the next 7-day period there, they kind of peak as we get into the second half of this weekend and into the beginning of next week, especially Monday and then into Tuesday there. And then our chances start to wane a little bit as we get towards the middle and end of next week. So let's take a look at what that looks like on our longer range European model here. So here we are on Monday morning, very, very early, 2 a.m. We've got some scattered showers. Again, most of the shower activity we see from Sunday night will dissipate, and we don't really have much to work with overnight. And then it looks like this model wants to hold off precipitation until we get straight up into the overnight hours of Monday and into Tuesday. Some models want to bring that precipitation in a little bit earlier, at least in the daytime hours of the late afternoon or into the early evening, and then continuing into Tuesday morning. But the same principles apply here. We're looking at maybe a first half of the day on Monday being just fine, maybe a little bit wetter towards Monday night, and then into Tuesday as this area of low pressure finally lifts up and crosses the tri-state. As that happens, not only are we going to see some more showers continue into Tuesday, but we could also see a few thunderstorms. Now, not expecting anything severe at this point in time, so it doesn't look like anything major like that, but we'll keep a close eye on it. If anything changes, we'll let you know. But here's a look at our rainfall amounts that we can expect over the next several days. So through Wednesday night, it looks like some folks across western Kentucky, where they have better chances for those showers tomorrow, you could pick up anywhere between 1, maybe pockets of up to 2 inches across the very far southern portion of our viewing area. Everywhere else, you could pick up anywhere between 1/4 of an inch up to 1/2 an inch in some places. So not expecting a ton of rain here, so not too concerned with any flash flooding threats either, which is great news. And looking at our temperature trend for the end of the month and into the beginning of June, still outlooked to remain at least slightly below average. And I think that's what we're seeing here on our 7-day temperature trend. Temperatures remaining well below average, at least through tomorrow, Monday into Tuesday, starting to climb a little bit closer to average by the middle and end of next week, topping out in the mid to upper 70s. But remember, our average high is right around 80. So even that, those upper 70s still not quite cutting it for our average temperature. So going to remain slightly cool, and it looks like our precipitation might just end up right around average through the end of the month as well. So that's all good news, nothing unprecedented headed our way for once. We'll take it. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. I'll grab that full screen so you can get a better look at it again. Some scattered showers possible tomorrow, but still a decent amount of dry time in between. Don't think you need to cancel anything. If you have any outdoor plans, just prepare, keep an umbrella handy. Then as we get into Monday, similar situation. I think the bulk of the day on Monday is going to be just fine. It's until Monday night and then into Tuesday that we have better chances for rain, and then even a few thunderstorms possible on Tuesday before all this wraps up and starts to move out of here by the middle and end of next week. So that is all I've got here for the forecast at 9 o'clock on All Streaming. I'm going to hop off this live stream. I'll send you guys over to 14 News at 10 for all the latest news and weather headlines. Until then, everybody stay safe, have a great rest of your Memorial Day weekend, and I'll see you again soon.